Good evening, friends. Hope you all are well and doing fine. I'm Ashok Kanawala on behalf of HDFC Mutual Fund. Extend a warm welcome to all of you to join this webinar, a unique initiative from our side, our forthcoming NFO, HDFC Cancer Fund or HDFC Charity Fund for Cancer Cure. This is our fourth edition. So some of this on this call must be already aware about this product, but for the people who are new to this fund, new to this concept, we welcome them and will help you understand how this product is different and how this product is unique. But before that, we have two distinguished guests on this call, Mr. Navneet Munot, our MD and CEO. Navneet has an experience of more than 25 years in this mutual fund industry and has been our CEO for over now last 2 years. Before that, he was CIO with SBI Mutual Fund. And also, we have Mrs. Usha Thorat, Chairperson for Indian Cancer Society, with which we have associated for this fund. And Mrs. Usha Thorat has been a former Deputy Governor of RBI, has been a career banker herself, joined RBI in 1972 and retired in 2010. And in the last 5 years, she was Deputy Governor, managing various portfolios and notable being currency management, that is FX. And of course, after her retirement, she has been associated with not-for-profit association, one being Indian Cancer Society, where she has been chairperson and heading this initiative. So without much ado, I now invite Navneet to make an opening remark. And of course, thereafter, we'll discuss about this product, discuss about Indian Cancer Society. And I have my colleague Ram Kumar, who will help me moderate the call once we are done with the opening remark. And if you have any questions, more than happy to post them on the call and we'll reply to them. Over to you, Navneet.
Thank you, Ashok, and welcome, Mrs. Usha Thorat. It's indeed a privilege and an honor to have you on this call today. I welcome everyone who's there on this call. I really appreciate you joining this call. Some of you may have received my letter where I reflected on how cancer is more than just a diagnosis, more than just a disease. It's really a fight that displaces entire families and households into disarray. My colleagues and I at HDFC AMC got to witness this firsthand very recently, few days back in our organization. A dear colleague, Samir Babu from our Hyderabad branch, recently succumbed to the dreadful disease. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few months ago, but he relapsed and passed away just this week. His wife is also a cancer survivor and now will be supporting the family. It is a profound grief that cancer victims leave behind that acts as a call to everyone to do what they can for countless such families. The challenges faced by those affected, coupled with the profound physical and emotional toll it takes, make cancer an insurmountable hurdle in life, demanding immense resolve, courage, and more than that, it requires unwavering support to overcome. In the spirit of making a difference, now we launch the fourth series of HDFC Charity Fund for Cancer Cure, once again embracing a unique approach that combines the power of investment with compassion-driven giving. This fund represents a union between a noble cause on one side and our investment management capabilities, our partner relationships, and our distribution reach on the other side. Since its initial launch in 2011, the collective contributions from this fund, along with matching contributions from HDFC AMC, have amounted to an impressive rupees 190 crores. Our latest NFO for the series is inspired by the remarkable difference these donations have made to thousands of cancer patients across the country over the years. And I'm sure in our leaflet, in our presentation, you would have seen more details about these. Of course, none of this would have been possible without our wonderful partnership with Indian Cancer Society or ICS. They have been at the forefront of raising awareness, detecting, curing, and supporting cancer patients in India, and have spearheaded the entire initiative. Our collaboration with ICS has been a moral project and not an economic one. ICS has done an incredible work in empaneling hospitals, in creating strong SOPs, standard operating procedures, monitoring treatment, screening applications, and conducting a host of due diligence activities to ensure that every rupee is utilized in the best way possible and in the most cost-efficient manner. And so we can confidently present this product to our investors and distributors. I have the honor of being a part of the Governance Advisory Council, GSE. The chairperson is here. She'll talk more about it. And I've personally witnessed the rigorous screening of applications and the selection process. It is an outstanding process executed with the highest standards of professionalism and ethics. For cancer patients, timely help is critical, and ICS wastes no time in ensuring that selected patients receive the required care immediately on time. So my sincere thanks to everyone at ICS for their contribution, to the doctors particularly who are donating their time all the time. They're so pressed on time, but the amount of time they devote to this cause is really praiseworthy. I really salute them. The HDFC Charity Fund for Cancer Cure has created a new asset class, as my predecessor Milind used to call, a new asset class called philanthropy, an asset class that invests in lives. In the words of our chairman, Deepak Parekh, he said, philanthropy should become a habit and not an option. Philanthropy should become a habit and not an option. There cannot be a bigger joy than the one we get from giving. So like in previous series, SDFC AMC will match the generous donations from our investors, the donations that you make through this fund with an equal amount directly contributed to ICS. This will be subject to a limit of rupees 16 crores of donation per financial year from our side. Given our commitment to this cause, we will also levy no investment management fee we will charge to this fund. My deepest gratitude goes out to the thousands of investors in the past series of this fund. As we reinvent and reboot this mission once again, let's make yet another meaningful impact. I invite everyone to be a part of this noble cause by investing in this fund. Together, let's make a big difference for those most in need. As we invest in both financial growth and human well-being, we can create a future where hope and healing becomes accessible to all. Now I would like to welcome Mrs. Usha Thorat, former Deputy Governor, RBI, Honorary Secretary and Managing Trustee of ICS. She is also the Chairperson of the Governing Advisory Council, GSE of Cancer Cure Fund that I talked about earlier. Thank you so much, Mrs. Thorat. It's indeed a privilege having you with us, and everyone on this call is very eager to hear from you. Ma'am, you are on mute.
You're on mute.
Thank you so much, Navneet. Thank you, HDFC AMC. It's not just thank you for this launching of this NFO for the new Cancer Cure Fund. It is thanks for the amazing partnership that we've had over the last 12 years. It's been an incredible journey of collaboration between an asset management company floating a mutual fund, adhering to all regulations, and probably the leading cancer NGO in this country, the Indian Cancer Society. The Indian Cancer Society will be 75 years old in 2026. And it is an Amrit Varsh for us too. And I feel very privileged to be here today addressing all the people who have joined this webinar. And I'm really thankful to each one of them, many of them who have supported us in the past. There have been 3 such rounds of funding. The first one in 2011, second one in 2014, third one in 2017, and then COVID happened, and now we are doing the 4th fund. So this is a brand that needs to be cherished. Philanthropy as an asset class, and philanthropy not as an option, but as a habit. I mean, these are the words that we should be, it should be ringing in our ears. And I feel privileged to have been able to be part of this giving to society, to be able to save the lives of those thousands of cancer patients who all have had treatable cancers. And if it weren't for the money that the Indian Cancer Society, with your help, the investors' help, has been able to provide, they would not have survived, but for the treatment that they got. And this is the real spirit in which this Cancer Cure Fund, the fourth series, is being launched. Every rupee, like Navneet spoke about the kind of diligence that we do to ensure that each person's money is spent truly well spent. But I would take a couple of minutes to tell you about the Indian Cancer Society and to kind of use this opportunity to sensitize all of you who are here present in this webinar about the implications for cancer for our society. The Indian Cancer Society has a huge continuum of activities, right from creating awareness to carrying on with the patient's journey, undertaking screening for early detection, supporting the cancer patient for his early diagnostics, and then supporting the patient for his treatment. And then after that, following it up and offering him survivorship support, rehabilitation support, and finally producing the Indian Journal of Cancer, which is a registered, which is a research journal, one of the highest standards in the world. So the entire continuum of activities, the Indian Cancer Societies, whose board of trustees is all eminent people from all very professional and highly, highly disciplined. So the one point that I really want to make is the impact on society is greatly, because of cancer, can be greatly reduced in terms of the human cost, in terms of the social cost, and in terms of the economic cost, if we have much more awareness of cancer. We must have much more awareness of the ways we can prevent cancer, of the ways we can stay 2 steps ahead of cancer, the way we can help influence people to get themselves screened at an early date, because early detection of cancer both improves the chance of survival and it also reduces the cost of treatment. So according to the Indian Cancer Society, the first and most important thing is an early screening process, is a regular screening process, so that we get patients to present themselves for cancer treatment at a very early stage. And in India, that is not happening. It's happening at a very later stage, and that's why the morbidity is very high. Because cancer detected early is curable, is treatable in most cases. And that is the one message I would like to give. But once having realized by the Indian Cancer Society that having been confronted with the disease, there are patients all over the country who are probably coming to Tata Memorial Hospital, and they not only have to meet the cost of treatment, they also have to meet the cost of their out-of-pocket expenses, their families, travel, and various other incidental expenses, which may be as much as the cost of treatment. So one of the original objectives of the Indian Cancer Society when launching the Cancer Cure Fund in partnership with HDFC, AMC, was to try to locate hospitals in different parts of the country so that the treatment could be closer to the residents of the patient, and that imposes much less burden. So our job has been to select empaneled hospitals all over the country, right from Silchar in Assam to into Baroda, and right from Srinagar up to Trivandrum. So we have hospitals across the country which provide standard of care treatment and the patient's applications are received through such hospitals. And we follow in the Indian Cancer Society the highest degree of diligence in screening applications so that it is objective, so that the chances of survival are high, it's a treatable cancer, and the money is given to ensure that almost the entire cost of treatment is covered. So this is a very unique scheme because it is the mutual fund model, which is really what is so innovative about this scheme. And that has really served its purpose, because from the recipient's point of view, as I am a recipient of your donation, I'm able to focus on my main objective of saving lives, rather than running from pillar to post every year looking for donations and it can become very uncertain, it can become very fluctuating, that I cannot plan my resources. This way, what the HDFC Cancer Cure Fund plus the assurance of the CSR funds from HDFC AMC has made a huge difference is the complete ability to have been able to focus on the treatment of treatable cancers. And that is why I'm so grateful to HDFC AMC, which along with the Tata Memorial Center, with its hospitals around the country and the kind of doctors which they have provided pro bono for screening applications, and also to Navya Care, which uses a unique, again, it's pro bono. They give a unique AI tool, which we use for saving on expert oncologist time. 80% of the oncologist's time is saved because only 20% eventually come for the final, physically by the due diligence committee. And everything today is processed, say, within a 15 to 17 day turnaround time. And the utilization is ensured and followed up meticulously up to the time that how many patients have been lost to follow up, how many patients have died, how many have survived, what is their condition. And we keep doing this analysis to see that we meet the highest standards of saving lives. So I am very grateful, Navneet. I'm very grateful to Milind, who really had slogged in those years for establishing this Cancer Cure Fund, and all the team from HDFC AMC, some of whom have been with this journey right from the start, and to my own colleagues in the Indian Cancer Society, and Rawat and her entire team, for having provided such splendid assistance to the Governing Advisory Council, which is the apex level organization within the society because of the governance mechanism that we have done. Plus, I would like to assure investors that we have done so at a very, very minimal administrative cost. It's hardly 4 to 5% of the total amount that we spend. This is the kind of cost for providing these services. And as I have told you, a lot of this has come free from the doctors. It has come free. The AI tool is free. The AMC has not charged any fees. And so we have been able to just tightly, hold our fists and to be able to reduce this cost to the minimum possible so as to deliver every rupee for patient care. I'd be very happy to answer any questions that any of you may have. And I'm really hoping that you spread the word for every 637 people here. If you contact 10 people who you say, please do come and look at this opportunity for giving, then I think we can, we would really be very happy and very grateful to you. Thank you.
So, ma'am, I mean, the whole world has been talking about the AI, but it was such a pleasant surprise when first time I witnessed, you've been witness to that for a long time, how Navya, the AI tool, has been used for screening the application. So I think it would be probably one of the earliest NGOs in the world to really use AI for a real case use.
Yeah. So, ma'am, if you permit, I thought I'll just run past first the how the fund is going to work, because there will be some new investors also, prospective, who have not been experiencing. So we'll just explain the model of this fund, how it is going to work. And then once we are done, then we'll open for question and answers and we'll moderate the call thereafter, right? Yeah. So basically, the principle behind this fund that what we started was that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So that's how, of course, being a corporate, we also have our own plans to do. We do contribute to this work, but I thought that, or we thought that, how can we make community be part of this? And what we can lend to this fund was our investment expertise. So it was a blend of our own investment expertise plus our own finances, and that's how this entire concept has come together. So as it was brought out that this is our fourth edition, and just to give you a just rundown of the history, that we started in 2011 for the first 3 years. Thereafter, we followed up in 2014, 2017 thereafter. But of course, because of COVID, we could not launch the fourth edition. But now, of course, times have stabilized and we are back. So idea is to, and the structuring is more like a close-ended structure. And why the close-ended structure? Because it helps us to decide or determine the fixed corpus, which can be then invested in underlying securities, which will generate returns, so that it becomes predictable for us to pass on that corpus in a definite manner to ICS, so that they can plan the requirement of beneficiaries accordingly. So they have a huge requirement. They cannot meet unlimited requirements, but yes, of course, because of our sort of planning and providing them a definite cash flow, they can at least plan their activities well in advance. And as Navneet rightly said, that this is a draconian word. Once the moment cancer is heard, there is generally panic, and delay is not the requirement. You need to meet those people's requirement as early as possible. If you tell somebody, for example, come after 6 months, we don't know whether that person will be there or not. So the idea was to provide a very definite cash flow, and therefore this fund has been structured on a closed-ended structure to generate stable cash flows for this. So how this fund works, basically, there is only dividend option. There are no growth options. Why? Because we need to provide cash flow on a regular basis to ICS. So there will be dividend options, and from dividend, the money will flow back to ICS. So what we have done, as I said in earlier 3 series, which we collected, and as time passed, more and more people have been joining this initiative. So we started with nearly 100 crores, and today in the last series we were at 300 crores, and we collected together with the contribution from AMC 190 crores. And as Navneet rightly said, that as a part, because we can only lend our investment expenditure, so we will not be charging any fees for this fund. It's completely free of charge from our side. And this is how the fund has worked, or the underlying ICS has worked. They've got, not in addition to us, they've got money from individuals and corporates separately. So nearly 268 crores is what has been sanctioned, disbursed 225, and more than 13,000 people have benefited from this initiative. And this is some kind of classification or demographics that you can see that people across ages face this cancer, and more importantly, 0 to 15 and 16 to 45, they nearly constitute nearly 60% of the patients who are underprivileged, don't have money to fund their cause. And these are the people who are covered. Gender biases, 50-50%, women, men. So whereas I'm trying to make a case here that it is sort of, it can happen to anybody. And that is where ICS comes into picture, and trying to identify those people who can recover, because there are various stages of cancer, as we know, stage 1, stage 2, stage 4. If somebody comes at a very advanced stage, maybe the treatment may go waste, and because capital is limited. So they are trying to identify those people who with this treatment can be cured and can then have a normal life going forward. That's what ma'am also said, that they have 19 hospitals across India, of course led by Tata Memorial of Mumbai. And just to put you on the graph, that you can see Kashmir, Srinagar is there, down Trivandrum is there on the western side, you have Gujarat, and on the eastern side you have Assam. This is the length and breadth which we are covering. So we have covered nearly 28 states, 8 union territories, covering this 13,000 people. So that's how this has been structured. This is the process that I think ma'am talked about in detail, so I will skip that. This is the governing council, I'll skip that also, but I'll come straight to the product, how it is working. So basically, as we know,
You can spend a minute on the governing council, and maybe Mrs. Usha can also add to that. I think she mentioned about it, but we have all the names.
Right. So I'll just complete, then we'll get back to ma'am. So how does this work? That we collect money from investors. We invest in government securities. This is roughly around 1,200 days product, so 3 years and 3 months. And whatever dividend will come through, so it's the government securities, so you can say it's almost secured money. So whatever dividend will come, so we have 2 options, 50% and 75%. So you can choose either of the options. So if you have chosen, say, 50%, so whatever dividend will get declared, of that 50% will go to Indian Cancer Society, 50% will come back to you. Accordingly, if you have selected 75%, 75% will go to Indian Cancer Society and 25% can be with you. Now, depending upon your requirement, your corporate CSR requirement, you can choose 50, 75% depending on taxation, etc. So that's the two options available to you. How this is going to work, that there will be one-time mandate. So money first will flow to your bank account, and by one-time mandate, the money will, whatever that 50% or 75% will get withdrawn and will flow to ICS. As Navneet says, that we are deeply associated with this cause and we'll be doubling our efforts of the effort of the investors. So whatever is the dividend amount, suppose dividend amount is 10 crores, then we'll put 10 crores from our side for whatever, subject to maximum of 16 crores. So we'll completely match to make the impact double, so that ICS get that kind of money and they can plan their resources, they can treat more patients, and that's how the entire structuring is worked out. So we are trying to make double the impact, and as I rightly said, that out of 190 crore, 105 crore till date has come from AMC, and we'll continue with that initiative going further also. And of course, as I said, this is a close-ended, but minimum investment amount is 50,000 rupees. Why we have kept 50,000? Because you are actually contributing donation, which is generated out of this 50,000. So that makes a little bit meaningful contribution to the Cancer Society for them to take care of the patients. So this is the simple structure. It's been in existence. This is our 4th edition. Of course, therefore, people are aware about this, but for the new investor, I thought it was prudent to take you through how this product is going to function. Now, coming back to the governing council and this part, I will again request Usha ma'am to take that, how this actually, the screening, etc., happens in a little greater detail so that people can understand and associate with it. You're on mute, ma'am.
Really, the demand for cancer treatment, even amongst, I would say, privileged people, but amongst the underprivileged, the demand is really so very high. The government schemes cover a certain amount and a certain category. Now, beyond the government schemes, whether they are state government schemes or central government schemes, there are thousands and thousands of patients who do not have a source of funds for treatment. They are underinsured, they are uninsured, insurance is not affordable. They don't come under the Ayushman, they don't come under the many of the eligibility norms of the government schemes. So there are really very limited funds available for many underprivileged patients for cancer treatment. So, and therefore the due diligence process to make sure that the most deserving patients are really helped. And like it was said, that the objective is to return these people who are, going through this cancer journey back to society as productive persons who would lead a normal life. That is our goal. So the stages of due diligence you can see are 3. At the empaneled hospitals itself, there is a stage. Then there is a second stage of due diligence, which is either the AI tool or the due diligence team of expert oncologists. And the final sanction, which is another stage of due diligence, is the Governing Advisory Council, which meets twice in a month, the second and the fourth fortnight. And these meetings have been now, I think, more than 250 meetings have been held right from inception without a single break. And that is all pro bono. The next slide gives you the members of the Governing Council. But in the Governing Advisory Council, there are 2 expert oncologists, Manju Sengar and Nilesh Lokeshwar, who are really not even part of the Indian Cancer Society, who give their time and amazing assessment. They run through about 100, 120 cases in about an hour's time and are able to give their views on whether the AI tool has thrown up the right approach, both in terms of the survival probability and also the cost of treatment. So there have been a lot of innovations that have been done in the recent period. We have tried to also standardize the cost of treatment so that just because 5 lakhs is the ceiling available from Indian Cancer Society, it is not given. every rupee, like I said, is really, ensure that it is well spent. So we have people in the Governing Advisory Council who are doctors, Dr. Anita Bojes and Dr. Purna Kurkure. These are very well-known oncologists. They are in the Advisory Council. And then we have Dr. Manju and Dr. Nilesh Lokeshwar. Plus we have other people like Hari Mundra, who's the chairman of the Indian Cancer Society. We have Shailesh Iyengar, who's a former MD of Sanofi India. We have Ramesh Swaminathan. We have Mr. M.K. Sharma. Navneet himself is a member of this GSC. So this GSC, we make sure meets every 2 weeks and approves financial assistance. It approves the guidelines. It lays down the policy. It makes deviations, if any, conducts periodic review, and also ensures that the audit and the utilization is properly done. So this is the governance process, which we are very proud of, and we try to keep on improving it because we always feel there is much more scope. We also do an audit of the hospitals.
So here we said that when we talk about underprivileged, ma'am, so typically I would say what will be the income level below which
4
we
lakhs
generally-
per family.
So 4 lakhs per family. So this is the kind of family.
Yeah. But what we have now find is that even 10 lakhs per family, people cannot, really afford.
Yeah. Okay.
And also we can't really start supporting all the new treatments, immunotherapy, because even basic surgery, chemotherapy and radiation, plus supportive care itself comes to significant amount. And bone marrow transplants, which are really important for many patients, the cost has really been increasing. The cost of cancer treatment has really gone up in India significantly. And our effort is to stretch every rupee. And therefore, although may make sense to increase the ceiling per patient, we have really kept it on at 5 lakhs. So that becomes a huge help. And the patient is able to more or less, from our own analysis, cover most of those cancers, maybe with some contribution from other sources.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.